All right, welcome back, brothers and sisters. We have got to talk about something that just came across my desk. I know I just did a video 2 hours ago, and I hate to step on that one, but you guys need to be aware of what's going on right now underneath the White House nose. I'm going to walk you through the entire thing, but it really looks like the deep state is trying to pull a fast one here, getting a UN-inspired Biden-era gun control across the finish line to eliminate exports for anything and everything in the United States. Guys, this is a big one. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. Please send this to everyone that you know because we have steps we need to take. I got to tell you all the things. This is a big one. And of course, as you get in here, let me know. 5x5, excellent. We've already got it. You guys are on it per usual. Okay, listen. I'm going to do this one high energy, a little faster because there's a lot of stuff I got to get to. But this literally, I got a phone call the second I hung up on my video earlier today. This is really important. And I'm going to say it in the onset, all right? It's in the description box below. Everything I do all the time is in the description box below because I always bring the receipts. Here's the number. It's also in the description. The White House call board, 202-456-1414. We're going to need to make some calls tomorrow. I'm just going to tell you, we're going to need to make some calls. So as you guys are getting in here, make sure you are sending this out. You're making those emojis fly just like you are the chats. We need as much engagement on this one as possible. I'm going to walk you through what they're doing because NAGR put out some pretty important stuff. I'm going to walk you through right now. Okay, everything looks good. Excellent. So, in the Biden administration, you guys know that it wasn't exactly a gun-friendly organization. You know, that whole pesky rights thing. They didn't really like that. Well, they had a bunch of rules. They went roughshod over our rights with executive rules. That was like their go-to. That was the way they were able to do stuff, right? Well, as I go through this, something from the Biden era just got reintroduced recently from April of 2024, earlier this week. We're just now getting a notification of it. Guys, this is directly from the Biden era to current. This is under the Trump White House from the Biden era. Send this stuff out, make some calls. All right, listen, here we go. Here's the deal. Breaking. This is from Dudley Brown. This is the president of the National Association for Gun Rights. I'm going to show you a few other people. The White House is moving to adopt an illegal Biden-era gun control rule enforcing the UN Small Arms Treaty in America. And they're doing it 12 days before the UN's Gun Control Summit in Geneva. And there's a thread. I'm going to walk you through all the receipts. But first, here's the actual document that he cited. As you can see, it's on the screen. And here is the received date, 8/04/2025. So that was this week. Or actually, technically, it was last week. But it was originated in April of 2024, the Biden administration. Now is the Trump administration. Prior was Biden administration. That's not cute. Now, I have no documentation to tell you this. I can only tell you inside sources what they're telling me. Inside sources on this are telling me that the White House was actually unaware this was happening. That's why we have to call them to make them aware. This is not being framed as a Trump came out to screw us. This is the deep state pulled a fast one and it's under the radar. That's the angle I've been told at this moment. Lots of calls are happening. Trust me, I'm going to keep you updated. Let me zoom out here. Right over here, as you can see, final rule, revision of firearms license requirements, and this is from the Office of Management and Budget. This is the OMB, okay? Now, let me get back to the actual point of what he's bringing forward here. This right here is instituted through the Commerce Department. I'm going to show you in a second. This is the deep state's playbook, says NAGR, or Dudley Brown. Give governments the monopoly on firearms and strip citizens of their means of self-defense. If this rule passes, American gun owners and our firearms industry will pay the price. And this is where you're going to be breaking this down from a broad macro concept into a very personalized concept. I'm going to go big for this part. If this goes through as written, which I'm going to show you, you're talking about effectively ceasing all exportation of firearms through or from the United States externally. Okay, this is not guns coming in, this is guns going out. All right, so in that scenario, you're talking about a dramatic impact on the firearm manufacturers on their bottom line, which is going to cut into your ability for your rights. That's the whole idea. You hit the top of the food chain, it trickles down the exact same way. This is why gun controllers go after the PLCAA, the manufacturers, they go after taxes. It's all meant to hit at the very top and trickle its way down. All right, now let's get back into this. And sorry, I'm getting over the GOA or the goals crud. Here we go, right here, the Commerce Department. I'm going to zoom on this in a second because there's some important stuff they highlighted. And again, this is really good research. I got multiple people I'm going to hit to. Biden's commerce rule is a copy-paste of UN treaty language. It would ban U.S. civilians from exporting small arms abroad, killing overseas markets for American-made firearms, while letting foreign governments keep buying. And here is the actual language. Again, I'm going to keep on bringing all the receipts. I always do. They're linked in the description. Oops. As you can see, Department of Commerce right there, United States of America. April 30th at the top right up there. April 30th, 2024. You guys see that? That is when it was first introduced under the Biden administration. I showed you a second ago how it was introduced on 8/04/2025, Trump administration. From what I've been told, I cannot verify this 100%, but this is the old deep state quick turnaround. Okay, this is the old sneak under the radar. The risk of diversion is significantly higher for exports to non-government end users than for exports to government. That means the distribution to other people, right? So if their argument was, you can't do this because terrorists are going to get it, they're saying if you send it to governments, it's fine, but if you send it to individuals, it's not. That's what that means. The diversion is significantly higher for non-government end users, which would be civilians, okay? Globally, the private civilian stockpile is less accountable, far less strictly guarded, and 3 times as plentiful as its state's counterpart. Now, you guys remember, we talked about this when it was going down back in the day. They were talking about, excuse me, they were talking about cutting the exports. It's the same rule. It's the same thing. Biden-era rule snuck under the radar by the deep state under the Trump admin. You got to call that number. It's linked in the description if you didn't see it when I had it on screen. Right down there. All right, let's keep on going because this is all the important stuff. The impact. Massive revenue loss for manufacturers, as I mentioned. Layoffs across the firearms industry. Yep, it's all an economic impact. Higher prices for American consumers and less innovation and fewer options on the market. Yeah, it's economics. All right. That part I don't really care as much about. The UN civilian disarmament agenda, yeah, there's a piece to that, but that's not the main thing I want to hit. Right here, it also violates federal law, which forbids taxpayer dollars from implementing the Small Arms Treaty. Now, the Small Arms Treaty, I'm sure a lot of you guys are fully familiar. The Small Arms Treaty is that thing, the specter over the hill. They're always trying to get guns through treaties versus different legislation. That's what they're talking about. Okay, the UN. They're not just breaking the law, they're using it to stab gun owners in the back. And I'm going to hit this little detail right down here. You guys should be able to see this when I zoom in. I got some feedback to zoom in a little bit more, so I'm trying to apply feedback with you guys. None of the funds, none of the funds made available by this act may be obligated or expended to implement the Arms Trade Treaty until the Senate approves a resolution of ratification for that treaty. That's the entire point right here. It's against sitting law. This is bad. Let's go ahead and call the White House and get them to kill this thing because public pressure works. All right. Here's the actual stuff. This is actually a really good thread. I really like when they give us step-by-step details here. 8, rescind this rule immediately. Absolutely rescind it. That's a really important thing. That's the go-do. And enforce the ban on taxpayer funding for any UN treaty implementation. Those are both not only feasible, they're not only reasonable, they're also achievable. Let's frickin' go. This is simple. Rescind that rule immediately. Not now, not yesterday, immediately. And then enforce the ban, which is already law. Now, yeah, you're familiar with that guy and his work. And then there's the White House number one more time. I will actually just go right over here and I'll get a little bit bigger for you. There's the number 202-456-1414. And if you guys are just now getting in here again, I'm sorry, I've got the crud from the goals convention. But that's what we're dealing with right now. So now let me go over to another guy from NAGR. This one, his name is Ryan, and all these accounts and all the information is linked in the description if you're just now getting along with a phone number. This is a good high level, the same information, okay? This is a pending review. This is the OMB, Office of Management and Budget. It was received last week indicating movement in the current administration. This part right here, indicating movement in the current administration. That is the problem. We cannot have this piece right here. Last week was indicating movement. No, bad. Bad White House. They can't do that. This docket shows the history of the rulemaking going back to Biden's term, linked in the description. And then the rule text. This is the fall 2024 text issued after the comment period. So this is like a traditional rule. It's loaded with UN anti-gun control propaganda citations. Biden-era rulemaking on guns cannot be trusted. We need to make the White House and Secretary Lutnick to pump the brakes on this now. Sure looks like the deep state is pulling one over on the 2A. That's what this looks like to me as well. Okay, it looks like they basically dusted off a rule that was from 2024 in the Biden administration, and now they're sneaking it forward to get it into the White House under the Trump administration in order to affect the exports of all civilian firearms of the end users. That's what it looks like. One last person I want to show you, Hannah Hill, then we'll wrap this bad boy up. So deep state bureaucrats tried to pull a fast one on the Trump administration and the American people by quietly moving a Biden-era interim rule to help nations disarm their people. This rule would literally export gun control, and that last sentence is worded a little odd for me. What it really means is it would effectively it would halt the exporting of firearms from the United States to other end users across the globe, which would effectively export gun control. But that's what she's referencing right there. And then she references the exact same stuff. So in conclusion, in summation of this, guys, what we're dealing with right now, and I'm going to go big screen. You guys can follow me at Braden LOA if you'd like. Go big screen. What we're dealing with right now is a Biden-era rule dusted off, slid under the radar. What looks like, at this time, could change, could not change, I don't know. Looks like deep state bureaucrats trying to pull a fast one on the 2A in the White House because, again, my internal comms and my internal sources are telling me they were not aware of this. So I'll keep you updated on that. But that's what's been told to me and by people I trust. And now they're trying to sneak it under the radar while at the same time there's a UN treaty, the Small Arms Trade Treaty and the UN gun control stuff going on in 12 days. So that's where we're at. The number for the White House is in the link in the description box below. I will go ahead and read it one more time because I like you guys. I like you guys a whole lot. It is 202-456-1414. And as Dudley Brown said, here are the requests. Rescind the rule immediately and enforce the ban on taxpayer funding for any UN treaty implementation. That seems reasonable, and I like it. I am here for it. All right, people, listen. I was not expecting to do this. It was an unexpected treat, but the great news is I got to spend some time with you guys when I did not see it coming, and that's always a great time. So thank you so much for all you guys do. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spreading this out, sending it out, making sure you hit all those emojis, the subscribe button, the like button. You know what? You guys are just awesome. You're always on it. I love each and every one of you, just the right amount that makes you feel comfortable. Hope you have the best Wednesday night of this week, and I will see you tomorrow when we are back at the grind. I'm Braden. See you later.